From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Ticats Today with Louie B.
Yes, it is Ticats Today for a Thursday, December the 9th, 2021. Yes, it is already Thursday of Grey Cup week. And we've been bringing you tons of coverage throughout Grey Cup week on the Ticats Audio Network, and that will continue. Today we had a chance to catch up with Carr Gibson, who is a 96-year-old man who was at the 1935 Grey Cup as a 12-year-old. So Andy and I had a chance to catch up with him. We caught up with Devontae Dedman. There's a brand new episode of Task and Twos you can catch on the Ticats Audio Network as well. And all those have a keyword that you can enter to win some great prizes, because Ticats Today during Grey Cup week is presented by Swoop Airlines, the official airline of the 108th Grey Cup. That beach vacation you've been dreaming of is about to become a reality with Swoop, Canada's ultra not expensive airline. Visit flyswoop.com to fly to sunny destinations for less, and listen to the Ticats Audio Network all throughout Grey Cup week. As in partnership with Swoop, we're giving away two amazing prizes, a pair of Grey Cup tickets and a pair of round-trip flights to anywhere Swoop flies. All you have to do is listen for the Swoop keyword. We'll give you a different keyword in every piece of content we create this week, so the more you listen, the more chances you have to win. Go to ticats.ca/listen to win for full contest details, terms, and conditions. I still can't believe it's Thursday of Grey Cup week. I know I may have just mentioned that already, but it is Thursday of Grey Cup week. Sunday's game is getting closer and closer, and we know that it's sold out. And if you are one of the lucky ones to have tickets, well, my advice to you is get there early. Get there early, give yourself lots of time, enjoy the festivities down there at Tim Hortons Field, but get there early, that's for sure. Today, Ticats practice was closed to the media. We'll be back at practice tomorrow, let you know what we see, and we'll hear from Coach O. But today was Ticats Media Day. So 24 Ticats were brought through the Hamilton Convention Center, and I will admit that because of social distancing, the audio is, it's okay. But I couldn't get to as many as I wanted to. We will hear from Kameron Kelly, and we'll hear from Stavros Katsantonis, and we'll also be joined by the CFL on TSN's Matthew Scianitti. Caught up with him at the Hamilton Convention Center this morning, and we'll play that conversation for you coming up in just a little bit. I also want to let you know that tomorrow, if you don't have plans for tomorrow afternoon, well, I got your plans for you, because tomorrow afternoon is the Legends Luncheon. The CFL Alumni Association Legends Luncheon is Friday at the End Zone Bar and Grill. There'll be lots of Ticats alumni there. For information, go to cflaa.ca for details. All right, we spoke with Garrett Davis earlier this week. Of course, he is getting set to play in his 5th Grey Cup. A couple of guys who are set to play in their first, Kameron Kelly and Stavros Katsantonis, and I had a chance to catch up with them at Ticats Media today. Let's start with Kameron Kelly, and I just kind of wanted him to put into perspective, just, you know, from day one of training camp to on the cusp of the Grey Cup, what this season's been like for him.
First day of training camp, it was kind of crazy. You know, I finally got a feel for how big the field was. I'm breaking on football is being thrown, and I'm thinking I'm gonna get there, and I'm really like 5 yards away, and I was just like, man, this is a madhouse. And then, as the season went on, I kind of started getting a little bit more comfortable. I learned a lot from all my teammates and my coaches, and now that we're here, I feel like from day one of training camp, though, Coach Cole told us, we were going to be playing in this game. The first slide they put up was a picture of the Hamilton Stadium filled up with the Grey Cup symbol next to it. So we saw it through. We saw it in the beginning, and we didn't know exactly how we were going to get here. And the journey's been crazy. Me personally and just the team and everything we've been through. But it just makes being here a lot more sweet.
I've heard this a couple times, but the only thing guaranteed
is adversity. Yeah,
what does that mean to you?
My whole journey, starting from, I thought I was going to go 3rd or 4th round out of college, and I ended up going undrafted. And then, after that, I got cut by the Cowboys. I wasn't in training camp there. I was at home for a whole year, did the AAF, got picked up by the Steelers, and then got released there at the end of the year. Then didn't do anything for almost a whole another year, So I just look back on my whole life, and, the statement can't be any more true. It's just all about how you respond to it.
what does it mean to look over to your right, to see Joe, to see Sam? Like, guys who've been in the league, especially Sam, but what does it mean to look over and see those guys to your right?
It's special because I do this for my team. First of all, my family. For God's glory, and third, my teammates. Because it's hard to play football, like one of the most dangerous sports, when you really don't genuinely love and care about the guys next to you. Jovan's been in the year, it's his 5th year, it's his first Grey Cup. I'm trying to get it to him. Sam's been playing for, I don't know how long, 9-10 years now. He's been to one or been to two, but this, trying to win one for him. So I really genuinely care about these guys, and I want us to be champions.
And think about Sam. He doesn't take a practice off. He doesn't take a rep off. He doesn't what do you?
He deserves it.
Yeah, and what does it mean? Because you do have a lot of young guys in that linebacker room though too. So what do you think it means to, even to you, but to those younger guys, to see a guy like Sim kind of at the top of his game?
It's definitely what every young guy needs in their career. When I was with the Steelers, I had a guy like Joe Hayden, and so I was almost in awe, when I was around him. And then, he was the same way. Always practice hard, have great practice habits, and was just a great dude on and off the field, always smiling. And I come here and I see Sim doing the same things, And so I'm just like, that's the definition of a vet, and vets like him and Chris Van Zyl are the reason, we can keep everything, because Coach O can only control so much. In the locker room we're by ourselves, so those guys, they keep that message going in the locker room and make sure everybody stays on track.
And Coach Washington, I know you're a man of faith, he's a man of faith. What does it mean to have a guy like Coach Washington in the room, and more than just a football guy, but as a mentor?
Yeah, me and Coach Washington have had some deep talks that have absolutely nothing to do with football, and I feel like that's kept me on track. I go in his office sometimes, we pray together, we're in chapel every week together. So I just feel like, everybody has their own faith, but only certain people are really out with it, and I feel like our purpose here on earth is, to spread, the word of God, and, to see somebody like him do it, and the way he balances football and, his spiritual life, he's been a great role model for me.
That is Kameron Kelly, as we had a chance to catch up with him at Ticats Media Day down at the Hamilton Convention Center. Some great coverage coming out of Media Day already. CFL.ca's got some great pieces, and the tons of great writers who I've, writers, reporters, everybody else who I've had a chance to catch up with this week are just putting out some great content pieces. So make sure you go check them out. And again, CFL.ca, Danny Austin's here, Tim Baines is here. Really a great talented, lots of talented writers here in Hamilton, making sure they got this game covered from every angle. I mentioned it was Cam Kelly's first Grey Cup, of course, in his first CFL season. It's also Stavros Katsantonis' first Grey Cup. And we had a chance to catch up with Stavros, and he is quite the character, and I always love catching up with him. And, same thing. I kind of asked him, I wanted to know, just the idea of how this season has gone for him and being on the verge of playing in the Grey Cup. Here's what he had to say.
It really means a lot, to be in, like I said, I've been telling a lot of people first year, rookie year, and being my first Grey Cup. It's definitely exciting, but, also remembering not to kind of, overhype the moment. Sometimes when you do that, you make mistakes and stuff like that. So to me, it's just kind of preparing like it's any other week, doing the little things right, not leaving anything to chance, as Coach O says, and just being prepared at the end of the day, ready to go on Sunday.
Coach had mentioned the moment. And when you came in, I think it was the Eastern semifinal, when you came into the game, made that interception, and Coach had said, the moment wasn't too big for you. What does that mean to you?
We prepare every week I prepare every week like I'm going to be the starter. So, I've been doing that since training camp. Been fortunate to have some good teammates around me with Mike Daly, Tembe Adeleke, and they've just helped me a lot throughout the season, especially in training camp, just preparing me for that moment. And, I did some preparation on my own, and, just fit right in like a glove on the Eastern Final. So
you mentioned that secondary, Tunde, Mike Daly, Coach Butler. What does it mean to have a room like that for you as a rookie to come in and kind of, be immersed in it like that?
Yeah, those guys are just great guys, great veteran leaders. They just know the defense and help me really learn it like they know it. So really thankful for those guys and the things that they've helped me with throughout the season.
That is Stavros Katsantonis, as we were able to catch up with him at Ticats Media today. Again, apologies, social distancing. I know that audio wasn't the greatest of quality, and I can already read the text that I know my executive producer is going to send me, but I wanted to make sure I got you something from Ticats Media today. So a couple of guys getting set for their first ever Grey Cup. Kameron Kelly, Stavros Katsantonis, and obviously exciting for them, exciting for the team, and it is. There is a buzz in the city, and I've been fortunate to hit up a few parties in the last couple of days, and we'll probably hit up a few more. I'll be hosting the Ticats tailgate on Sunday. I'll be down at the Eastern Social Hall. I'll be at the Alumni Luncheon. So lots going on here at Grey Cup Week, and with the Eastern Social Hall, the CFL Awards. On that note, I will let you know that we are going to be kind of I don't want to say your exclusive home of the CFL Awards, but you're going to want to be listening on Friday because we will be joined by every single CFL award winner right here on the Ticats Audio Network. So very cool to be able to catch up with all the winners. And as mentioned earlier today, Devontae Dedmon, he's up for Most Outstanding Special Teams Player. You can check that out at the Ticats Audio Network. All right, while we were down there at the Hamilton Convention Center, I had a chance to catch up with my good friend, the CFL on TSN's Matthew Scianitti. And, I started our conversation with Matthew just kind of getting his perspective on Media Day and kind of what he learned from talking with the Ticats today.
I think what I learned, Brandon Banks' perspective is very interesting and I think important to the evolution of this team this year. The fact that this guy in 2019 was the best player in the league, the most outstanding player, and that now he understands that his job isn't to have the big plays all the time. His job is to be a leader and to lead by example. And I've been around Brandon since he came to the team in 2014, and a little, learning about him and seeing his evolution from a guy who was in his mid-20s coming from the NFL to a guy now who's in his early 30s and who understands that he's in the latter stages of his career and appreciating the perspective that, hey, all I care about is getting a championship. And we've heard so many taglines from Orlando Steinauer this year, but the one I think that's standing out this week for the players is magic, which is make a greater individual commitment. And for Brandon Banks, learning about him and understanding that he's like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and be a leader for these guys. That's the thing that I really took from at least talking to the guys today.
Yeah, and even, we can throw Sim in that category too, because, the word maturity comes up a lot with them. And it's not a slam on them that they were immature, but it's just been really nice to see them.
Oh, I could say that Simone Lawrence had some immature moments. I'm sure he would agree with me.
Yep.
No, not to cut you off. Sorry about that, but it's this has a lot to do with some of the seeds that Kent Austin and Scott Mitchell, Sean Burke, Drew Alamang planted back in 2013 when this, the Ticats became a team without a home for a season and went to Guelph and had to deal with all that. But you can throw Jeremiah Masoli in that as well, and that's kind of important. Very quickly, I don't think Jeremiah Masoli can be the professional that he is in understanding and embracing Dane Evans as a starter if he doesn't go through everything that he went through in 2013, 2014, and doesn't kind of embrace the Ticat culture. And I think that's really representative of everything that all the guys I've named in the executive and coaching roles. The culture they put in has really helped this team now in the fact that Jeremiah Masoli can look at Dane Evans and say, yeah, you're going to be starting. I want to be starting because I'm a competitor, but you're my teammate, you're my friend, and I'm going to do everything I can to get you ready. I think that on top of, Brandon Banks and Simone Lawrence, I think that represents everything.
And, it was very clear from day one, like going into training camp, like Coach made note, he didn't hide it. These guys were going to compete for the job, and there was going to be a 1A and a 1B. And, to see it actually put into practice, and like you said, like with Jeremiah and what he's been through, and then just to have Dane's back. There's a lot of teams, there's a lot of quarterback rooms where that wouldn't work.
I can't think of a team that I've covered where that would have worked, if not here. And it started, we're at the Hamilton Convention Center, and the team had to quarantine when they came here in the summer at the Sheraton across the street. And Dane Evans was telling me that that's when the seed was planted, and Jeremiah took Dane aside and said, while they were getting tested daily, as they were quarantining in their rooms, they had a chance to see each other, and Jeremiah pulled him aside and said, it's going to take both of us. And you can obviously include David Watford in there as well. But it's going to take both of us. And speaking to the players around the Ticats and media day, and really all season, the important thing was they recognized that. They saw that level of selflessness, and I don't think the Ticats are in this situation in the Grey Cup if not for that one moment between Dane Evans and Jeremiah Masoli.
Well, let's talk about the quarterback on the other side.
Oh, yes.
Zach Collaros is obviously well known to Ticats fans. It was nice to talk to talk to Luke and Andy all season long and just get the perspective on Zach and what he's been through. I have a feeling that everything that Zach's been through, last year was special. 4 different teams getting hurt in game one. But, if Zach were to win this, I have a feeling this one would mean a little bit more to him.
Well, I think statistically, I will tell you, and in the history of the league, there's only 2 quarterbacks who have repeated as Grey Cup champions in the last nearly 4 decades since the early 80s, and one is Doug Flutie and the other is Anthony Calvillo. So, and in those years, in those back-to-back years, Calvillo and Flutie, at least, Flutie, I think, won both in 96, 97, but they both won MOPs with Calvillo and Flutie in those runs. So, and Zach is, I think it's pretty generous to say that he's in pole position to win the MOP with the greatest amount of respect to everything that William Stanback did this year for the Alouettes. I've covered Zach for a long time. It's no secret that he and I have a very good working relationship. My first year covering the league I started covering the league in 2011, but my first full year was covering the league in 2012 when Zach came up here, and he was the 3rd/4th string quarterback. And I remember fondly just having conversations with this young kid from Cincinnati, from Steubenville, Ohio, and him saying to me, you know what, man, I think I can do something in this league. Like, I really, and, at that time I was naive covering it because, Louie, you know this as well as I do. Everybody comes up here, and, I can do something in this league. But, there was a real commitment into Zach. And the fact is, Ticat fans are going to be cheering against the Bombers, but you can you can be a fan of one guy. Everything that Zach Collaros has gone through. Usually 10, 15 years down the road, you look back on careers of athletes like that, and you're like, oh, only if he was healthy, only if he was in the right state, only if. There's no only if with Zach Collaros. Like, there is, and you can tell, and this is the thing that there is a tremendous amount of respect between Orlando Steiner and Mike O'Shea. Yep. There is a tremendous amount of respect between both of these teams. You can see it, you can sense it, but to the larger point that you were making, you can sense that there's a tremendous amount of respect in this organization for Zach Collaros. Yeah,
and you just mentioned O'Shea and Coach O. Obviously, I thought Steve Simmons put it really well yesterday in the coach's press conference. He had said that, guys who had won together, coached together and won together, and now are going head-to-head. You talk about the mutual admiration club between the 2 Coach O's there, O'Shea and Orlando. What have you seen between them this season, last season? What's that relationship like from your perspective?
Going back to 2012, and that coaching staff, the Argos coaching staff, Orlando was the defensive backs coach, one of his first years as a defensive back coach, and Mike O'Shea was the special teams coordinator. Their relationship actually reminds me of my relationship with my best friend Sheldon, and in the sense of, like, Orlando said this. Mike O'Shea is quiet, and he's not reserved, but he's someone who picks and chooses his words and who he brings in. And Orlando said, that's a guy who doesn't have to tell you that he cares about you. He will show it. And I think that's really – and Coach O, when I was speaking to him for the broadcast sit-downs yesterday, said, when my first few years in Winnipeg, when it was going rough, I knew that I could rely on Orlando because he always would call me at the right time. Football is a competitive business. It's a ruthless business, as we both know. But to see these 2 guys and the level of respect that they both have for each other, and I've seen it from being at the University of Toronto, Mississauga, where the Argos used to have their old facilities, and the fact that they would bounce ideas off each other and be with each other, and even things I didn't see when they were there at 5:30, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, all the way to 10 years later, 10 seasons later, and they're both head coaches. They both created cultures that at the end of the 2019 season, they were the 2 best teams. Through a global pandemic, we go 20 months later, and they're still the 2 best teams. That says something.
It should be a great game on Sunday. Matthew, I know you're busy, so thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Always my pleasure, Louie. Good to see you and good to see the crew.
My thanks to the CFL on TSN's Matthew Scianitti for giving me a couple minutes today at the Hamilton Convention Center. And you probably think I forgot. You probably think that I forgot and I wasn't going to give you a keyword today. Well, no, I just made you listen to the very end of the show to get your keyword, because it's time for the keyword to enter for your chance at Grey Cup tickets as well as round-trip flights to anywhere Swoop flies. The keyword for this show is Kingston, Jamaica. Go to ticats.ca/listen to win, and for all the contest details, that's ticats.ca/listen to win, and enter the keywords Kingston, Jamaica. Good luck and keep listening all week for more chances to win. Thanks for listening today. We are back tomorrow, same time, same place. We're the Ticats Audio Network. I'm Louie B. Hoping you have a great day.
Ticats Today with Louie B. Subscribe, like, and get your Ticats fix every weekday.